is the Hot Zone. Engaging with the news in a whole new way, international war correspondent Chuck Holton brings insight into areas of crisis and lets you help those affected.
Hi folks, Chuck Holton here. Day one in Syria. I'm traveling with the Free Burma Rangers. That's a humanitarian aid group that has done work for more than 20 years in Burma, but also has been working for 5 or 6 years in Syria. And we're on a mission into Syria to try to bring help, hope, and love to the Syrian people. There's a lot of military buildup happening along the Turkish border.
Taking it right at the intersection, at the intersection over.
Oh man. So we're trying to keep it tight going through this very busy town. This is Kamishli I'm in. And we've got these radios that we use.
Right now, this is not the way that we do it at all. So we'll see if he turns around or has another way that we don't know about. This is not the way. That's it. So this is not the normal way.
So you have to be very careful going through Kamishli, because this town has elements from the Syrian army, which are enemies, the Russians, which are adversaries, the Turks, the Americans, and the SDF, the Syrian Defense Forces, which are Kurds and are friends. But in this town, their children, believe it or not, and we've got some translators from Kurdistan and from Syria, and a few more joining us from Iraq in a couple days, Lord willing. This is something that Free Burma Rangers has gotten really good at, and they've really nailed down how to do missions like this. If you take a look at the vehicles that we are rocking here, they're all set up exactly the same. They've all got tow straps on the front. They've all got extra tires, run flat tires. We've all got radios and extra fuel and all sorts of supplies, and with 21 people, we kind of need that. What's surprising is that when you hear or read about the war and what's happening in Syria, and has been happening for the last 10 years, you would think that this place would just be zombie apocalypse. But in reality, there's kids going to school, looking at a group of boys over here that are playing soccer or something. People are going to work, and although there's a level of freedom here that you don't see in most places, meaning you don't need license plates on your car, stuff like that, because there's really, I mean, the government here, this part of Syria, it's like the eastern third of Syria, is controlled by the Syrian Democratic Force, or Syrian Defense Forces, SDF, which are, you know, Syrian Kurds, and they call this Rojava, this area, and they are. There's a kid over here waving at us. People get really excited when they see our big long convoy of ambulances, and I think they're very grateful for the help. So the plan is to kind of see what happens in terms of combat. If there's you know, fighting going on, we will definitely go to where the fighting is, but we wouldn't take the women and children up there. We would leave them behind. If things got really bad, we'd send them back to Iraq. It's about, today we crossed the border into Syria, and then it's about a 4-hour drive to where we're going to stay tonight. We've already been driving for a few hours now to get to Kamishli, and the sun is just starting to set. It is not quite 5 p.m. Here's a, I'm going to see if I can. We just went by a Syrian army checkpoint. That's kind of bad. I don't think we're supposed to be in that area, but they didn't stop us. We've got a lot of momentum. It's kind of like trying to stop a train when you have 11 armored ambulances, and the fact that we're you know, rocking the red crescent, red cross on our vehicles helps a lot, because you know, we're not that threatening. But yeah, I typically don't want to get stopped at a Syrian army checkpoint. That'd be bad. So like I said, sun's going down, people are out. A lot of shops on the side of the road. You can see here. One thing that's interesting about driving through Syria that I've noticed is that every town you go through, all the shops have a roll down metal door, and they all have painted on the outside of the door a pattern, different colors, maybe a big white polka dot in the middle or something like that. And it's different for every town you go through. I'm not sure why they do that. It's kind of interesting, but it makes it kind of easier to remember which town you're in, because you're like, oh wait, no, that was in the blue stripe town, not the white polka dot town. And so I'm going to be doing my podcast every day from here over the next maybe couple of weeks, and so stay tuned, because you never know what might happen. This is day one, and we are trying to be ready for just about anything. So stick around. If you want to support the people that we're going to be helping. If you want to pitch in, you can do that by going to patreon.com/hotzone, or you can go to, look at the school kids there, or you can go to, more preferably, chuckholton.locals.com, and look, twins. chuckholton.locals.com is better because Patreon supports Black Lives Matter, and so I'm trying to move away from Patreon. You could also PayPal funds to holtocw@gmail.com or paypal.me/evmt. Those both go to the same place. Some people prefer to send funds that way. I'm not asking you to, but a lot of people ask if they can help, and so I just want to tell you how to do that. Anything that gets sent, we will do our best to use it to help the people of Syria. We're going to be dealing with a lot of Syrian Christians, a real dwindling breed here, and we're going to be actually working to, hang on a minute. My radio got turned down, so I couldn't hear what was going on. We're going to be, this guy's trying to get in, and no, I won't. Okay, I'll let you in. Go ahead. Okay, I won't let you in. We're going to be dedicating a Armenian Christian church in Raqqa that was destroyed by ISIS in 2014, and FBR raised the money to rebuild the church, and it's now almost complete, and so we're going to be going there to do a little dedication ceremony for that church, and that ought to be pretty cool. That's really the biggest reason why I'm here as far as reporting goes. So we are stopped by the side of the road. There's a bunch of kids over there playing soccer. A lot of kids still coming home from school. I'm not sure what we're doing here. I'm waiting. People like to salute you as you go by. Back up a little bit. So, anyway, stay tuned. I'm Chuck Holton. What's he saying?
You do adhan, like Muslim adhan.
But what's he saying?
Like you say God is great, and no God but God, and Muhammad, messenger of God,
is his prophet.
Yeah, his prophet.
Yeah. So there's no God but God, and Muhammad
go to
is
pray. Yeah, no God but God,
and
Muhammad prophet from God. And
does he say like you should be praying right now, not eating or sleeping or?
No, just like time for prayer. I'm like for prayer.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
This is Dahuk in northern Iraq. Oh, it's right there. Where's your cops?
The Hot Zone is produced by Amy Holton and Livefire Media. Copyright 2021.